Now, if he is found guilty, Sheldon Chase could get life in prison and a $250,000 fine for each count of murder. After 2 days of soggy conditions, flooding is being seen across the region. Democratic strategist Barrett Kaiser says we'll still see campaign ads on TV and in the paper, and we might even have someone knock on our door. We are broadcasting live from Skyview High School, where they are packing the place in pink. Your first day of freedom in almost 30 years. What did you do today? With control of the U.S. Senate up for grabs this year, the race for Montana's Senate seat is turning out to be a brawl between two heavyweight candidates. The doors behind me here at Zoo Montana are closed, but just for the evening. The facility will remain open despite losing accreditation. As officials investigate 3 deaths on the Crow Indian Reservation, we're learning more about the death of a Crow family just before Christmas 3 years ago. This week, the FBI released its final investigation into the deaths of Juliet and Teddy Littlelight. Pages of documents reveal intimate details about the family's life and death. It's a story you'll only see here on Color 8.
This is a Color 8 News exclusive.
Nearly 400 pages of documents released this week by the FBI paint the Littlelights as a family struggling with debt, divorce, and drugs. 30-year-old Teddy and his 25-year-old wife Juliet were last seen December 23, 2008, with their infant son Wyatt. The family truck was found weeks later, abandoned on a rural road near Fort Smith. For months, their family waited for news.
I had my hopes up. I wanted to find them alive.
The investigation reveals the family fought often, had separated, and was discussing divorce. Several people also told investigators Juliet was using and selling methamphetamine. For a short time, the investigation was even deemed a kidnapping. The FBI investigated several tips in the case, everything from underground baby trafficking rings to the Mexican mafia. But in the end, it was this auto body shop in downtown Billings that solved the mystery of what happened to the Littlelights.
You'd end up walking.
Owner Troy Edom inspected the Littlelights' vehicle and prepared this report for the FBI. He found several things wrong, but most notably, the serpentine belt was dislocated.
This is one belt that runs alternator, water pump, power steering, and if you lose that belt, typically the first thing that happens is the car overheats. The alternator won't be charging the battery. When you go to start the car, it probably won't start due to a dead battery.
In sub-freezing temperatures, the Littlelights ended up walking. Months later, when the snow began to melt, a rancher called authorities, saying he spotted human remains on Grapevine Ranch. He reported seeing an infant and an adult just 2 to 3 miles from where the Littlelights' car was found. But investigators never found an infant. Instead, they recovered the remains of 2 adults, Teddy and Juliet.
Not the outcome that everybody wanted.
A coroner found no reason to suspect foul play, considering the Littlelights still had hundreds of dollars tucked into their pockets. The official cause of death? Undetermined, but consistent with exposure. Little Wyatt is assumed dead, though there is no physical evidence he was killed. The documents say a federal lab found meth in both Teddy and Juliet's DNA, but it is not clear if it was in their system when they died. Investigators say that rural area past Fort Smith, where the family was found, is a known location for meth deals. A cloud of uncertainty surrounds the Bull Mountain mine near Roundup. MSHA officials are on scene investigating a series of cave-ins starting July 18th.
When it comes to cave-ins, there's nothing you can really do. I mean, if the mountain wants to come down on your head, it's going to.
This man works mostly on the surface of the mine and didn't want to be identified for fear he would lose his job.
It's good money, and you know, there is a lot of security. I mean, the mine isn't going to go anywhere.
He says he was in one of the chambers that collapsed just days before it fell and says there were signs of trouble.
A lot of movement, a lot of noise. You know, we're doing what we can to support it.
Signal Peak Energy President John D. Mache says the company was aware of a weak area and was trying to add extra support. Things are quiet at the Bull Mountain mine near Roundup as crews continue to investigate the series of collapses here. This isn't the first time the mine has been cited for safety violations. In 2010, they were cited for 44 violations, which could have caused serious injury or illness, according to MSHA.
It's not safe, and we need to figure it out one way or another.
Elizabeth Jones's father works at the mine. She says he was recently injured trying to repair a moving belt.
Well, it scares me because my dad goes to work every day and he's risking his life. I mean, everybody that goes to work every morning, every night is risking their life being there.
Jones says men continue to work there for one reason.
Because it's the only way to make money in Roundup. I mean, there's not enough jobs around here, so what you can get is what you can get.
DeMache says safety is the company's #1 priority, and he sees the collapses as a chance to learn.
Anytime we have a situation such as we've had right here, it represents an opportunity to assess what we need to do to prevent a similar occurrence.
Thanks so much for being with us. I'm Sarah Gravlee. Color 8's Chelsea Rabideau was in the courtroom today. She has more now. Billings City Council members will also meet tonight. They'll decide the fate of medical marijuana within city limits. The City Council will vote on 2 ordinances involving medical marijuana. They say they expect to continue the moratorium that prohibits medical marijuana storefronts within city limits. The council will also decide how medical marijuana storefronts will be defined. Councilman Vince Rugemer says the city could be faced with legal action if the Montana Supreme Court votes to approve the sale of medical marijuana at a later date.
I think we should do nothing until the courts have decided what's legal, what's illegal, what's constitutional, what's unconstitutional.
I think they're both going to pass, and they're both going to be open for public hearings, so if anybody wants to come down, they can have their say.
That city council meeting kicks off tonight at 6:30 on the 2nd floor of City Hall. As you heard, public comment is allowed before the 2 votes will be taken. Well, another beautiful fall day outside today. A few showers right now, though. Much cooler weather is heading our way. In fact, it might even be time to bring those plants inside.
That's right, Sarah.
All right, Kristen, thanks a lot. Plants across the region are thanking you tonight. Nebraska's governor could put a stop to the Keystone XL pipeline. He announced today he will call a special legislative session to consider challenging the planned route of the massive transnational oil pipeline. The federal government is expected to decide whether to approve the $7 billion project by year's end. The line would run through northeast Montana. Pipeline opponents sought the special session as a way of stopping construction of the pipeline. Supporters say the line would reduce U.S. dependence on Middle Eastern oil, while environmental groups say a spill could cause an ecological disaster.
The recall affects more than 250,000 motorcycles in the U.S. alone.
Lots of them right here in Big Sky Country. Well, just ahead, have you been to the Master Lube lately?
An unlikely place to find technicians decked out in pink.
And if you have any time off this week, I would recommend a drive. It is just beautiful out there. Bushes, trees, grasses, everything's looking great.
Yeah, just around Billings, beautiful trees.